sports specialist teacher in primary schools, and that he was about to go off and pursue Cirque du Soleil, which his eldest brother had done when he started to use ice.
So, can you tell us just a little bit about his other siblings too? What sort of jobs and lives have they had?
Yeah. So his eldest brother was a computer scientist and was Cirque du Soleil, and that's what he's currently doing. His sister was she danced in a dance company over in New York, and then is back now doing. She's working in real estate, and the next brother, the middle one, actually ended up with a heroin addiction, but 10 years, but actually stopped using heroin last year, and is running a very, very successful business now. And the next brother is a police officer, and then Matthew. So they're all two years apart.
So a pretty mixed group with all sorts of talents and qualities. What was Matthew like personality-wise?
As a child?
Yeah.
He was he was a happy-go-lucky kid, but he did worry about, he did have some anxiety issues, but probably no different to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Has he changed much? Basically.
No, not really. No.
So he's still the same person.
Yeah, still underlying cares for his family and cares for me a huge amount. But we have to work harder. We work very, very hard now at that relationship to make sure that we stay connected with him.
So tell us about the drug use. How did it start and how did it develop?
He didn't really use drugs or alcohol before he was 18 because he was a sports person and because that was his area of interest, and he was very law-abiding and very had certain principles. But he actually just went to the pub one night and happened to meet somebody who introduced him to ice very casually. And he obviously really liked the drug.
Yeah. What happened next?
He actually only smoked it a couple of times and then started injecting, so he was pretty full on pretty quick. And then he started not to be it actually came on really quite quickly, the disarray in his life, because he started to want to chase the drug more than go to work. Well, he was doing everything pretty normally, but things started to fall apart. Like he wasn't, in our house there was always whoever lives at home has to cook once a week, and his night of cooking, we could never find him, or just things started to fall apart a bit.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now you'd already been dealing with his brother's problems.
Yes.
With his heroin problems.
Yes.
So you had been used to drug issues.
Yes.
What was the difference between Matthew and his elder brother, and how were you prepared, do you think?
Well, at first I was quite devastated, but I thought I've done this once before, I'm sure I can do it again. But actually I noticed I had to go through all those emotions again. So I had to go through a bit of the loss of normality, I guess, and of him not, his erratic behaviour and disappearing and coming home after not sleeping for 3 or 4 days, and then of course not being able to go to work anymore. But the difference was that, well, heroin was a pretty laid-back drug, and but the ice was more just out there drug, more. And he did get into paranoia. He got paranoid, and he got drug-induced psychosis. So he would, in the end I had to teach him how to call an ambulance, make sure he called an ambulance if he got to strife, so that he'd go and spend a few weeks in the psych ward. Yeah, so it did get pretty chaotic.
So quite a lot of different reactions to the drugs and the heroin user.
Yeah.
But the heroin user had been fairly severely into it.
Yes, he had. Yeah, well, he went down the crime because it was so expensive that, because he was using up to $600 a day, so he got into crime in a really big way. But I learned to support. But in both of them, what I did was I never ever looked at their drug use per se. From what I learned from FDS, I looked at their behaviour. So in the end, after about 10 years of my son using heroin, by the end of it, when he said last year, oh, I'm not using heroin anymore, it was kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. And it was really like, if he went and used heroin again tomorrow, it's neither here nor there. I've done enough work on myself that it's neither here nor there whether he uses heroin or doesn't use heroin. I learned that the stigma of whether someone uses any drug, heroin, ice, anything, is not to do with the person, it's to do with how society portrays it. So as soon as I got my head around that, then I'm a much better support for either son. So what I noticed with the boy that used heroin is that because we stuck, we never judged him, we only ever looked at his behaviour, how it affected me, not his behaviour affected himself. So if he went to prison, that was okay. He had to go to prison, he had to take his consequence. And so for me it was just, well, he's not going to be chaotic, and at least I get to visit him and spend 2 hours with him and have a great conversation with him. So I really had to change my whole direction, which was very difficult when I live in a society that has all those ridiculous ads on television. And you know, and in my ear, I still had workers say to me, "You've got to kick him out. You've got to do tough love. You've got to hit rock bottom." I had all these really bizarre messages coming at me all the time, and I had to continually negate them. And every time something came to me, and I go, "Oh," I had to keep on weighing things. I was always ambivalent. So when we talk about a drug user being in that ambivalent stage, I found I was in that ambivalent stage just like they were. On what I had to do, and yes, so I called Tony along.
And he has 4 siblings.
Pardon?
He has 3 siblings, 3 or 4 siblings.
Yes.
What was their reaction?
It was mixed, because of course everyone goes through periods of I guess a bit of loss, because his eldest brother was going to be performing with him all around the world, and all of a sudden that was lost. And the eldest son actually came home for a period of time, and we'd all lived with it for a while, so we'd kind of got used to it. Not used to it, but we learned how to live with it, whereas he hadn't, and he came home and ended up one night having to drop him, because Matthew got very psychotic one night, so he had to drop him on the ground because he thought he was going to attack him. And so the eldest son broke the youngest son's arm and dislocated it by dropping him on the ground. So then, of course, he's calling an ambulance to get him off to hospital, and the older one's over the top of him crying, going, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And so it's a lot of things we had to all get through, but we always looked at, but the thing was, he was so high on ice that he obviously went into the hospital, didn't even wait for the arm to get fixed, and walked, 20 kilometres home with bare feet. And we thought, oh good, we're getting a rest, at least he's at the hospital. And he walks through the door and we went, oh, I don't think we even got 5 hours rest. So yeah, and we've all, even because the young one is gone through, they go through, they're not always high or they're not always chaotic, but when he is chaotic, my daughter said to me the other day, it's really important that I'm going to make sure I contact Matthew, because he's a bit chaotic at the moment. I'll contact him every week and talk to him, because she said you never know when someone's going to die, and so not just because he takes drugs, but anyone. And if you always, when someone dies, you always go back to the last time you spoke to that person, and you think of the conversation you had with them. And she said, I'd hate my last conversation to be that, you know, it was about me being selfish about telling him that he shouldn't take drugs. You know, and, you know, so she's I think we've all, through having to go through what we're going through, we've all actually grown up and matured a lot. And
a lot of the families that we deal with say that they are better parents, better families as a result of drug use, even though they wish they hadn't. It sounds like that's very much the case with your family.
Oh yes, and we're much more honest with each other. Everyone's very honest. We all call each other all the time, and we have very honest relationships with each other. Whereas before we didn't as much. Yeah.
The policeman.
Yes.
Any funny stories, interesting stories?
Yeah, he's only very, very young, and he was 21 when he did his first day at the police station, and he's there, and up the other end of the corridor is two detectives walking his other brother up the other way, and the son that got taken in by the detectives rang me later and went, oh my gosh, I can't believe what I've done to Luke. His first day at work at the station, and I'm being hauled in. And I think that was really, like, I went, wow, they have got so much compassion for each other, because even though he actually was concerned that had happened to his brother, but then I burst into tears, of course, and had a cry, and I think I was at customs trying to sort something out and saying to the lady, can you do two things at once? And she said, what? And I said, serve me and deal with me crying. She said, yeah, that's fine. And then when I spoke to the son from the police, who's the police officer, then that night, and said, oh, I'm so sorry about what happened today. And he said, what happened? I said, well, Chris got dragged in while you were there. He goes, yeah, best thing that ever happened. And I went, why? And he goes, well, now, because he was a new constable, he goes, well, now the sergeant knows me by name.